Once upon a time, Ian Carter, or IDubbbz, developed a reputation online for his unapologetic, scathing commentary videos on YouTubers he felt were worthy of criticism and condemnation for their terrible content, blatant hypocritical nature, and their overall repulsive behavior. These videos were legendary and highly regarded by everyone online. Viewers saw IDubbbz as a paragon that called out appalling content that polluted YouTube. Someone who saw through the smoke, pulling back the curtain to reveal the hideous truth. However, over the past few weeks, ever since he published a video entitled "I Miss the Old IDubbbz," he inadvertently set the internet ablaze. There have been countless conversations across the vast internet. Some have claimed that IDubbbz has come to epitomize every aspect of the creators he once heavily scrutinized, how he has become nothing more than a hypocrite, how he has betrayed his fandom, and how he has fallen from grace. In this video, we are going to conduct a thorough autopsy on the video in question to examine the reception and fallout to see if there's any validity to these claims, and to just try and understand if IDubbbz has truly become the very thing he used to admonish all those years ago. But as we administer the anesthesia and prep the patient for his autopsy, what's up, dudes? My name's OK Kyle, and welcome to the Internet X-Files. To begin this video, let's first examine the video in question that has caused such an uproar in the first place. On May 18th, 2023, IDubbbz posted a 17-minute long video entitled "I Miss the Old IDubbbz," a video in which he has a very candid and open conversation with his audience about his past content and the impact it had on the internet. Most importantly, how his content created harassment, bigotry, and overall negativity. By his own admission, Ian stated that his content contributed to a culture of apathy and cruelty. How, when looking back on his videos, that he was very insecure with his ability to entertain people with each new release. How he fought with this internal struggle to deviate away from the type of content that he was making at the time. He also goes on to state that after further rumination, he felt as if his content was hurting people, because in some videos, he drops derogatory words with a cavalier, matter-of-fact attitude, which created this notion that he was not responsible for how his fans acted online. How he wants to distance himself from his past videos so that way it stops contributing to this cycle of hate. To understand his point, we have to go to the era of YouTube where IDubbbz first gained prominence and explore the content being created at the time. IDubbbz gained massive popularity between the years 2014 to 2017. He steadily grew with his bad unboxing videos, but the content that jettisoned him into the YouTube limelight was his Content Cops series, a renowned series in which Ian examined the content of a particular creator based on what they were making, and or if the creator in question was nothing more than a hypocritical piece of shit. In these videos, Ian, with the bluntness and candor of this clip, delved into the creator's videos, highlighting instances to illustrate his point that the creator is a fucking piece of shit and should not be on the internet. We all remember these videos, right? We all remember the time when he bullied Leafy into the Shadow Realm, his fateful encounter with Tana, and the Rice Gum dish crack. All of these videos are legendary on their own accord, but these examples are just mere symptoms of Ian's embarrassment. When he says that he created a culture of apathy and cruelty online, the point he's trying to convey is that he normalized being an abrasive, bigoted asshole, and that by bullying and or attacking someone under the guise of criticism and sarcasm, it was perfectly acceptable. And as a result of those videos, his audience, after watching these videos, thought that it was acceptable to pantomime the actions and mannerisms of their favorite YouTuber. It's like punching someone in the face, and then when they're beating your ass into the ground, you scream, "It's just a prank, bro, I didn't mean it!" All while using your face as a soccer ball to practice their penalty kicks. It essentially acts as a shield to make you impervious to any and all criticisms that can be levied against you. When exploring IDubbbz's videography, you will find many instances of him casually dropping N-bombs, ableist and homophobic slurs, etc., as a means to criticize people for their actions. For instance, in his now rather infamous meeting with Tana all those years ago, in the video, he's dropping N-bombs like Henry Kissinger dropping Agent Orange on some unassuming Vietnamese village, as a retort for Tana calling him out on Twitter for using the same exact slurs in old videos. He would then go on to blithely defend his usage of the word by saying, "Words don't have power, we give them power, and if it's alright for one group of people to say it, why can't I?"
But you can't say that one because it's got sort of it's guttural. Either all of them are okay or none of them are okay. It's either all okay or none of it's okay.
Which are two extremely dogshit counter arguments to have, because you're advocating for the continued usage of slurs. Why the fuck would you argue in favor of racism? What? Be like the Sixers in the second round and take the impending L. And Ian's also not part of these marginalized groups that have to deal with the further stigmatization, so therefore it grants him 100% impunity. Straight white male cheat code activated. When we look through his video library, yeah, it's pretty fucking terrible because he says them in almost every video. It's entirely unacceptable. These words are thankfully becoming anachronistic as the years pass, becoming remnants of a bygone internet era. Going back to what Ian said in his video, he was extremely insecure in regards to how to constantly entertain people with each new video being released. So he resorted to a shock jock radio DJ type of humor, meaning just saying something to elicit some type of reaction from his audience. He's kind of like the kid who sits in the back of the classroom, saying the most heinous shit imaginable just to get someone's attention. Now, does this mean that IDubbbz was a raging, sheet-wearing, cross-burning, rainbow-stomping bigot? No, I don't think he was. He was just completely ignorant and unaware to the meteoric impact he had as a large content creator, with millions watching every video in a misguided attempt at comedy. His actions all stemmed from his self-professed insecurities. He just comes off as a try-hard edgelord being edgy for the sake of it and nothing more. Regardless of his intentions though, his videos are still very fucking problematic, right? And you know what? You can still enjoy these videos even though they have these very glaring problematic elements, as long as you are aware and accept their presence. His bad unboxing videos are entertaining to a certain degree. His Content Cop series has some very valid points to be made. But these people who have deified Ian, they aren't capable of that. It would go right over their empty little heads. To them, IDubbbz was a man on a quest to call out the bullshit polluting the internet. So if it's okay with him to say it, then it's okay for me to say it as well. It's like a kid watching something on TV, then imitating it right afterwards. But instead of breaking your arm after watching Jackass, you're helping spread hatred towards marginalized groups online, maintaining this circuitous cycle. There is no way to fully comprehend the impact that Ian's videos had on not just his audience, but the entire internet as a whole. All of his videos have been viewed millions of times over the past several years. So by Ian repeatedly saying these words in his videos, he helped enforce the notion that it's entirely acceptable to say these words without facing the consequences of your actions to millions of clay brains around the world. Hence is creating a new generation of YouTubers who have the same exact mindset as Ian did when he first started off. Yesterday's impressionable teen becomes today's insufferable free speech absolutist. So did Ian further stoke the embers of hatred in his past videos? Yeah, to a certain degree. With the constant overusage of slurs in his videos, he cemented the idea to his audience of primarily teenagers and young adults that you cannot be found culpable for your actions. That you can say whatever you want because words are just that, words. We are the ones that give them power and impact. Just ignore those aspects because they don't matter in the end. Is it too late for IDubbbz to issue an apology? Now look at me. Look at this pale, ghoulish complexion. I'm not exactly the intended audience for this video. The people impacted by his videos will reach their own verdicts. But allow me to chime in with my own thoughts regarding Ian himself. By posting this apology, it shows immense personal growth and maturation from Ian himself. Do you know how astonishingly rare it is for a content creator to issue an apology without the kangaroo court of public opinion demanding one after a public outcry? The answer is absolute zero. Ian, after years of rumination, conversing with different people, and interacting with the greasy basement-dwelling elements of his fandom in public, decided to issue an impromptu apology for no other reason than he personally felt like he needed to do this. Some people will argue that it's too late for this. The damage is too severe and I can't personally accept it. That's a very valid point to have and I am not going to argue against it. But the fact that he did this in the first place shows just what kind of person Ian has become, to become a better person. He had this thing we like to call a character arc, where he developed into a different person than he was at the start of this self-reflective journey. When apologizing, creators will state that they will change, that after like a day of crying and getting called out on Twitter, that they will do everything in their power to change, to become a different person as they force tears to roll down their cheek. How they will hold themselves accountable. But it's always words over actions. It's a fucking performance piece. A one-man act for an audience of one. Themselves. However, with Ian, he's been fully committed to this idea for years now, and it's very evident with the gradual shift in his content. There hasn't been a content cop since 2017. Bad unboxing videos have been slowly phased out of existence, replaced with comedic rant videos, videos defending his girlfriend, documentaries about random internet dudes he finds interesting, creator clash, his weird squirrel fetish, and whatever else. This wasn't a sudden, calculated move. It's been progress over the course of the past few years. Another astounding aspect to remember and congratulate is that Ian's channel grew during a time when the commentary meta was to be nothing more than an asshole edgelord. When just attacking someone was a camouflage for commentary. When being a dull blade was monetarily incentivized. The fact that he was able to evolve his content instead of stagnating in this reactionary quagmire is an admirable feat on its own. It takes enormous amounts of courage and resolve to reflect on your past, to confront your former self, no matter how hideous that shadow may be, to accept and admit your flaws, to experience personal growth and development. It's like a Persona game, but in real life. Holy shit! That's fucking amazing, isn't it? He completed his social link all by himself. If you can't look back on your past self and cringe at the person you once were, you are just like a sapling because you have a lot of growth to do, my myopic friend. And yet for some mysterious reason, rather than openly embracing Ian's character development, the internet at large has decided to fucking chastise him for no discernible reason. The video's comment section openly support him, but when you search IDubbbz on YouTube, you will find a plethora of just mind-melting hot takes that reminds me that oxygen is precious and some people shouldn't be breathing. Like this video, for example. I stumbled across this clip from streamer Asmongold, who was covering the apology video, and after watching it, I wanted to put my head in a hydraulic press, letting it crush my skull just to make sure I have a brain, because it is by far one of the dumbest talking points I've heard. He goes on to state that the real reason why Ian and so many other former bygone edgelords changed their content was because it was no longer monetarily viable. That it's all part of this elaborate grift. And that his apology rings hollow because Ian is kowtowing to the corporate overlords that preside over YouTube. And because of this, the fan base is Caesar when Brutus plunged the knife into him. Et tu, IDubbbz! Et tu! Yes, my fans. I have betrayed you. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do I have to explain the obvious here? If I do, allow me to warm up my pipes first, okay? Get ready for this, because the answer is going to be a bombshell revelation, okay? Get ready for this. Brace yourselves for impact. No shit, Sherlock. Did he really need a fucking magnifying glass to see the blatantly obvious before him? Oh my sweet Jesus of Christ, bend me over the table, pull my skirt down and fuck me raw. Because he is fucking stupid. You mean to tell me when YouTube makes rules that actively restrict your livelihood if you violate them, that people are going to change how they present themselves in their content in accordance with the new rules? What's next? Is Asmon gonna dip his hand in hot wax just to tell me how bad it burns? Like, why wouldn't you adapt to these new rules in order to survive on the platform? I despise corpos too as much as the next guy, but at the end of the day,
the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules.
that's the unfortunate reality we live in. Also, regarding the point that his fans felt betrayed by this sudden content shift, people bitching about it online are a fringe vocal minority. Ian no longer making edgy content is the 9/11 for people stuck in 2016. This video is their red wedding. Now, believe it or not, there was no betrayal. Ian came to this conclusion on his own volition that the content he was making at the time was attracting fucking weirdos who were causing widespread hatred. So he cringed really hard when facing his fans. He didn't like the community he accrued. He didn't like the people he was meeting in public. He thought they were a bad reflection of him as a creator and the videos he was making, right? Does that make sense? It's like if Pepsi became associated with, I don't know, Nambla, right? When you're thinking about sleeping with an 11-year-old, crack open a cold Pepsi on us. Pepsi, the proud sponsor of Nambla. Why would you want your image, your brand, to be associated with that? Wouldn't you do everything in your power to preserve and change how you present your brand? Ian simply reflected on his content, reaching the conclusion that they no longer represent his current ideals and the person he's grown to be, okay? That's all. There's no nefarious conspiracy here, Mulder, okay? Then there's this video that I found from some 2016 time traveler who's trying so goddamn hard to sound like he's not mad bad, but is steaming like someone left a tea kettle on the oven. This video is 12 minutes of an unorganized scattershot stream of conscious drool that somehow forms an argument. I'm going to try my best to decipher this unintelligible screed so that way you can understand what's being said. What this brain enema is trying to present is many talking points mixed together in some god-awful, congealed, homogeneous mixture. One, he states that IDubbbz shouldn't be making this video because as long as it's used for comedic purposes, it's okay.
How are you almost 33 years old and you think making YouTube videos did harm to the world? Are you that delusional? Apologizing for making videos, for making comedy videos, and I do think when it's comedy, I think all types of comedy should be able to go as long as it's meant to be funny, as long as it has a punchline. You just can't say, oh, look at those crackers, without making some punchline, some joke around it, right?
But allow me to remove a block from this faulty Jenga tower here for a second, okay? Ian just said the N-word for no reason. There wasn't any joke. There was no setup, no punchline. He just said it because he could. This is the same kind of logic used by hack comedians when they're complaining that they had to face the consequences of their actions by saying a shitty joke during their set. Further in this video, Sensitive Society goes on to make a straw man stating that by Ian getting a girlfriend, the pussy be so good that it's cucked him.
This guy was making YouTube videos. He wasn't pushing any agenda. He wasn't pushing any message. It was just meant to be comedy. It's fine to joke. What's up with people being so fucking serious nowadays? You can't joke about anything, guys. God forbid you say something edgy.
Erasing the edgy programming, turning him into a pussy-whipped bitch. Yeah, I've unfortunately encountered this point far too often in these videos. Yeah, believe it or not, it's mostly from these dudes who've never grown out of their embarrassing, triggering SJW compilation phase of life. Ugh. Fucking disgusting. Does anybody else find it extremely weird and unnerving that people are getting a rage boner talking about his wife? Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? What the fuck's your point? What's the connection here? What the fuck does she have to do with Ian issuing an apology? Oh, is that it? Since he got into a relationship with his girlfriend, she somehow brainwashed him? Is that it? Is that what we're talking about? Detective, I need more fucking clues to solve the fucking case. Can you get on this shit now, please? God, this argument is like a ship without a sail. Where the fuck is it going? Oh, okay, I get it now. She hypnotized him with sex, and now he's some kind of obedient thrall, right? Is that what we're going for here? Oh my god, these people are fucking stupid. Look, it's okay, I get it. You're secretly subscribed to her OnlyFans and you don't want your friends to find out. I get it. Not even your crusty sock puppet wants to make sweet love with your hand anymore. However, the worst elements of these videos is that they're mocking a dude who's undergone a journey of self-discovery to change himself as a person. That's so goddamn pathetic. It's like ridiculing someone going to a therapist to seek mental help. You're just an asshole. The reason people like this fuckhead and others are pissed is because they haven't progressed much as a person. They are stuck in an era of YouTube that has gone extinct, but these holdouts are trying to relive the glory years by making these low-effort screeds because time has passed them by. They are frightened of the word change. They would rather stagnate. So,
where is this coming from? What is going on behind the scenes with his wife? I know a lot of people say, well, he got a girlfriend, he had a wife, he grew up, he went outside, he touched some grass. Endless people did the same thing. PewDiePie comes to mind. Back in 2016, 2017, he had a girlfriend and he was still kind of edgy. Of course, he got older over the years, but he never said, yeah, fuck all of my old fans.
Instead of realizing that their viewpoints and existence are anachronistic, they choose to chastise someone for making an attempt. Lastly, let's take a look at this rare steaming L from the taut cheeks of Moist Critical. On any other occasion, Charlie is a Delphic oracle who peers through creator bullshit and calling people out. Though in this instance, he's like a broken pencil because he's missing the point. Charlie's misguided efforts to address the apology seems to miss the fairly obvious. The fact being, this wasn't meant for people like Charlie. The primary audience was for people who Ian thought he had hurt over the years. This video wasn't intended for Charles of the Moist variety. I mean, honestly, look at him. Does he look like the kind of dude who had to deal with dipshit 16-year-old IDubbbz fans screaming slurs in the hallways at the top of their lungs? No! He looks like the missing link in a human evolution diagram at the museum. The biggest takeaway, though, is that it seems that Charlie is misinterpreting Ian's message, right? Ignoring Ian taking accountability for his actions, he's rather focusing on the idea that Ian is calling himself a racist, which he isn't.
None of your videos came from a place of hate. At least I don't think so. I don't think you were ever a racist or a bigot or anything like that. You used those words for shock humor. That was the whole goal, the edgy shock humor of using those words. And you made it pretty clear that that was kind of your drive. But I really think most people were able to recognize that the things he was saying weren't coming from a place of legitimate hate. But it's still, I think, a little ridiculous to make it seem like it was this big of a deal that it warranted a whole apology video in which he makes it seem like he'll never truly find forgiveness and he'll never forgive himself for it, for saying the slurs in the videos and making the content he did. Because again, like, he's talking about it like he's a fucking reformed racist, like he was actually a racist and now he's not.
I know that's just a few seconds from a longer video, but still, Charlie just doesn't understand the intended audience for this video. No one has called IDubbbz for being a racist in mass, okay? The townsfolk aren't riled up with torches and pitchforks. The hangman's noose isn't limply swaying with the breeze. IDubbbz took it upon himself to once again apologize for spreading the notion that by saying slurs, it continues and enables racism, okay? Even Stevie Wonder could see the intent of this video from a mile away, and he wears sunglasses indoors. Another point that Charlie seems to miss is the monumental impact of IDubbbz's past content. To say they didn't have an effect on the internet is like saying Chernobyl was just an environmental mishap. All we have to do is look at this new wave of commentary channels that have somehow flourished since 2020. These leafy clones always use the near identical line of, "Don't take this too seriously, guys, it's just a joke," in every video they make. It's once again using commentary as a guise to be an asshole and nothing more. It's using commentary as a guise to just be an asshole online and attack people for no other reason, going after small content creators because they know they can't defend themselves. Here's a recent example. Do you remember when Chris Chandler came out a few months ago? Do you remember all of that bullshit? These are the same exact channels that say in the beginning, it's just a joke, don't take anything I say seriously. Their existence angers me to the point where I feel as if I need to make a video on the topic. I don't really care what this person does, but somehow this individual living their lives as their true selves, being comfortable with their identity, it angers me. It elicited such a volatile response from me that I felt as if I needed to make a video on the subject, using edgy humor as a rebuttal. But it's okay though, a joke's the joke, why so triggered? This is the only instance where the slippery slope isn't a fallacy, it's a dark reality. Thankfully, Charlie's comment section is inundated with people sharing their experiences, expressing their disappointment, and talking about how terrible Charlie's talking points were. He even made a second video responding to his criticisms, even going as far as to admit that, yeah, his initial video was nothing but dog shit. So to wrap this video up, is Ian a terrible human being? No. This video is him taking accountability for his past actions and how it created an adverse effect on the internet. Is it too late for an apology? Well, that's up for you, the intended viewer, to decide. Does Ian deserve the current backlash he's facing? Absolutely not. It's mostly coming from dipshits who've been comatose since 2016. This whole fiasco has been blown way out of proportion. So with that being said, once again, my name is OK Kyle. Thanks for watching, thanks for sticking around, and I will see you dudes in the next video.